Welcome to Cook 30. I'm Jeremy Dixon from the Revive Cafes in Auckland, New Zealand, and also author of the Revive Cafe cookbooks. And today I'm going to share with you a delicious cafe-style meal that you can cook at home. Cook 30 food is all about using whole foods. We're going to use plant-based proteins, lots of fruit and vegetables, whole grains, and wrap them together with exciting herbs and spices and international flavours. And the best part is, you do not have to spend hours slaving away in the kitchen. I'm going to show you how simple it is in the next 30 minutes how to make a great meal for your family. On the menu today we have an aromatic Cambodian tofu curry served over a cinnamon and cardamom rice. And we're going to drizzle over a curried coconut yogurt dressing. We also have a root vegetable and coss salad, and to finish off, a warming lemon, ginger and honey soother. Now, making meals in a hurry does not happen by accident. You need to be well planned. It may look easy from where you sit, but a lot of planning goes into making it something like this. So we've got a wooden chopping block, nice sharp knife, clear bench, everything's cleaned. The ingredients we're going to need: we have the oven on at 350 Fahrenheit, which is about 180 Celsius. We have boiled water in the jug, pots on the stove, great attitude and ready to go. So first job with any kind of meal is thinking ahead. What's going to take the longest time to cook? And in this case it's going to be the rice, so you want to get that on straight away. Now I'm going to put a very special rice today, and we're not going to do the normal rice and water thing, but we're going to just add a few ingredients first. So I've got a nice onion here, and I'm going to chop this up relatively roughly. Oh, there's a few marks on the onion. I'll take those skins off, and so dice them about that, just about half a centimetre, quarter of an inch-ish, whatever you want, because we want to have a little bit of texture left at the end of the meal within the rice. So we'll put that in there, put a little bit of oil in, and we're not deep frying, just a little bit. I'm going to stir that around. And that's all we want to get started. So give that a few minutes in there, and while that's going there, I'm going to do the root vegetables. So we've got some lovely orange kumara, or sweet potato, depending from what country you come from. In New Zealand, where I come from, we call it kumara. It's all the same thing. And we've got some carrots. You could add other root vegetables as well. Beetroot would actually go really nice, but beetroot takes a while to cook, so I've left it out of this particular salad. So I've just got an oven tray, baking tray with some baking paper or parchment paper, and that'll help with cleanup. So I'm just going to chop these carrots up into kind of bite-sized things. These are going to reduce down in size as they cook, so you want to have them a little bit bigger than you do to begin with. And the sweet potato, we're just going to quarter it and chop it into little cubes. You'll notice I'm leaving the skin on. This goes nice and soft. And in general, I'm not a big fan of peeling vegetables. If they look good, they're fine. Just give this guy a little bit of a stir. Might just turn it down a bit. And we'll do the other sweet potato. So this is kind of a multitasking meal, as are most of the Cook 30 episodes. And this is pretty much how I cook at home. So I don't have all day to sit around cooking, so I just pretty much jump in the kitchen and just make it happen. I'm going to spray over some oil here, some olive oil. This is just a good way of getting an even coating of oil without putting too much on. And straight into the oven. These will take around probably 20 minutes before they become nice and soft. Now the rice, just give it another stir. So I've got some very exciting spices I'm going to add to this rice, which is going to make it really, really special. We've got some cinnamon sticks, some cardamom pods, and some star anise. And these three spices have wonderful, wonderful aromatic flavours. So I'm going to put in 2 cinnamon sticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, I'll go 7 cardamom pods, and 2 star anise. And the reason I'm counting is because we want to take them out at the end, and we want to make sure we get all of them. It's not the end of the world if people have them in the rice, but it just makes it easier. I'm just going to take this off the heat for a second, because that's going to fizz up when we put the water in. So I'm going to put some rice in, and I've got some nice basmati rice, brown rice of course, and the recipe for rice, which works pretty much every time, is 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. So I'm going to put in 1 cup of rice and 2 cups of water out of the jug, and by having hot water or boiling water it just kind of saves time and having to come back up to temperature, so just a good time saving manoeuvre. There we go, 2, and that, I'll put the heat back on, and those spices and that onion will just slowly kind of go through that rice, so when it's cooked it'll be just lovely and fragrant. Already I can smell the cardamom, I can smell the star anise, it just smells beautiful. So normal rice rules: lid on, we want the moisture to stay in the rice, not to evaporate, and we want to not stir it because little steam vents will appear that will cook the rice evenly. So it's bubbling now, so I'm just going to turn it down to low and let that simmer, which is just cooked, so it's just bubbling for around about 25 minutes. Okay, we've made good progress. Let's start the curry. And this is a curry that when I was in Cambodia, I went to this restaurant and had this beautiful curry. So I talked to the chef and found out what sort of spices he's using. So I've kind of tried to replicate it. It's probably not an authentic Cambodian curry, it's kind of my take on it, but it's very, very flavoursome and a very popular one at my cafe. So I can feel that warming up there. So first ingredient, another onion. And we're going to want the onion this time to kind of mush and become kind of part of the curry. So we're going to dice it as small as we can, not obsessively, but a small dice compared with the large dice of onion that we did in the rice. So this is my, usually quick way of cutting onions. And lining vegetables up, thinking ahead, can save time chopping. Make sure you get a good sharp knife. Makes all the world of difference when you're cooking. Little touch of oil. Just a little bit, 1 or 2 teaspoons is all you need. Love that sound of that hiss when you put the onions in the pot. You know you're making progress in the kitchen. I'm going to do some bell pepper or capsicum, and again this is not going to become kind of a feature ingredient, but it's actually we want it to cook down and melt into this lovely kind of small bits of capsicum that will kind of melt in with the onion and the other ingredients. So you probably won't notice that it has capsicum in it, but capsicum is really sweet and lovely when it's cooked well. So, whereas if we did want capsicum to appear as kind of a feature ingredient, we'd chop it large and probably put it in near the end. So you can kind of use the same vegetable for different purposes in your meals. So we'll chop this through. It doesn't have to be exact, doesn't have to be tiny, but just on the smaller side and relatively chopped through. We're also going to add some cilantro or coriander stems. So this is one of my favourite herbs. So we're going to use the top half of this, and I keep my herbs in the fridge in a wet paper towel. It keeps them nice and fresh. And the top half we're going to use for other things, and the stalky end we're going to use in the curry. Often you'll be throwing this kind of end away. I'll just trim off the ends, which are kind of slightly, not too bad, but they're a bit dry. So normally you throw this a bit away, but these little stems have amazing flavour and will cook up beautifully in this curry. So we're just going to slice it really, really fine. Getting some leaves in there is fine, so it's no problem at all. And put it in there. So as you can see, we're working hard at the beginning of the dish to put the flavour in. If you kind of cook a dish, get to the end and think, this tastes really bland and boring, it's usually difficult to add a good depth of flavour, so you really need to plan out and do the work ahead of time. Okay, we've got some chilli. I couldn't find any good chilli, so I've got some chilli paste, which I'm going to put in. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of that in. That's all of it there. Got it, that's finished. And I'm also going to add some lemongrass. Now if you've got fresh lemongrass, that's great, but if you don't, you can just add some lovely lemongrass paste. So I'll put about 2 tablespoons in here. Might be a bit more, but that's okay. And of course ginger is a great ingredient for the beginning of any kind of dish like this. Take its little end off. There we go. 2 tablespoons there. And oh, that rice, I can smell that cardamom coming through already. It's just absolutely delicious. I'll just turn the rice down a little bit so it's just bubbling. We don't want to burn its bottom. And fennel seed. Now fennel seed is it's a little seed like this. And it's just, when you try it, it's just got this lovely burst of kind of aniseedy kind of flavour. It's really nice. So we're going to put in around about a tablespoon there. And this will just give it a little burst of flavour. So as you can see, this aromatic Cambodian curry is going to be very flavoursome, just by adding these simple and mostly inexpensive ingredients. Lovely. So we're getting that underway. We want the onion to caramelise. So everything's nicely cooking away. So now's a good opportunity to make a little dressing. And this dressing is really lovely. We're going to make it with coconut yogurt or cultured coconut milk, which is another name for yogurt. So we're going to pour this into a little bowl like that. So any kind of dairy-free yogurt you want to get is great. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of curry powder. Oh, come on. Might just lift the lid off, that's going to be better. There we go. Just going to add some garlic. So we're going to add a clove of garlic. Just probably add half a clove, just that much, just enough just to give it a hint. And we're going to add juice of probably half a lime. So we don't want too much, probably around about a tablespoon at max. Just a touch of salt. And I've got some sweet chilli sauce. We could add any kind of chilli if you want as well. Just about a tablespoon. And to go with it, the cilantro or coriander we had before. So I've used the stalky end for the base of the curry. I'll use the nice tips as a garnish for the curry. But the guys in the middle, we're going to just chop up really finely. So you kind of got a mix of stalks and leaves, and mix this through this dressing as well. So I'll put this back between this wet paper towel because it dries out really quickly, and we're just going to sprinkle this through. Get a spoon and just stir it, and this is just a nice kind of drizzle over to have with the curry, and just adds a nice kind of extra burst of flavour. So as you can see, we've got lots of spices happening in this meal, and your taste buds are just going to be very excited with all this stuff. And you may not have these spices in your cupboard now, but it's kind of a one-off purchase. So buy them, and then you can kind of use them for many, many dishes. So there is the lovely dressing all done. And things are smelling amazing over here. That curry's going well, and that rice, that cardamom, I just wish you could be here to smell it. If you've just joined us on Cook 30, we are making an aromatic Cambodian tofu curry, smothered over a cinnamon and cardamom rice. And over the top we have a lovely curried coconut yogurt dressing. We're also making a root vegetable and coss salad, and a lemon, ginger and honey soother. Okay, time to go back to the curry. And these are nicely kind of soft and mushy now, so I'm going to turn the heat up a bit and start adding other ingredients. So we've got some more spices to add, and we've got some ground cloves. So we're going to add around about half a tablespoon of ground cloves. And the reason I didn't add these spices earlier is they can cause the onions to stick. So you kind of want to kind of add these for a very short period. And we've got some turmeric, which adds thickness, a little bit of flavour, and most importantly, colour. So around about half a tablespoon of each of those. And we're just going to stir them up in the pan just to activate the spices. Oh, that just smells amazing. This is probably of all the Cook 30 programs I'm doing, the most spices I've used, and these just add huge amounts of fragrance and flavour to food. So make sure you stock your pantry with them. So they've just got just a couple of seconds in there just to activate them in terms of their smell. And I'm going to use some crushed tomatoes. And crushed tomatoes is my favourite because they're kind of already been pre-blended. You can buy tomatoes that are kind of tomato chunks with water. If you do, you may want to blend them up with a stick blender. But as you can see, it's a nice consistent tomatoey mix. So we'll stir that around. And also we're going to add some honey, just for sweetener, probably about a tablespoon. Wherever you have tomatoes which are quite acidic, you kind of usually want to add a little bit of sweetener to it. Bit of salt, about half a teaspoon, and that is a lovely flavoursome base. Whoops! Lucky I've got a shirt the same colour as the curry. You won't even notice. And now I'm going to add some beans. So I'm just going to got some nice green, long green beans. I'm just going to line them up on the chopping board and fire these in as well. Just chop the ends off like that. Rotate them around. Let's give them an adjust. You don't want the kind of end bits in there. Give them another little adjust. And just as they are, they're just kind of nice and long. A bit of greenery always helps most dishes. And they'll just take a few minutes just to warm up in there. You kind of don't want to have them too raw, but they'll be fine with that heat. We're also going to add some tofu, which is our protein for this dish. And tofu has a reputation of being bland and boring, but not in these kind of dishes. This will soak up all those beautiful spices and be a really nice way to have this dish. So I'm just going to chop this up reasonably chunky. So probably that big chunks. So what's that, probably 1 centimetre or ½ inch. And we're going to put that in. Now once this is in, you kind of want to be really careful because it's going to break up. Even though it's extra firm tofu, it is quite fragile. We're just going to stir it around gently. And the final act is we have some coconut milk here. So I'll open this and probably run around about half a can of coconut milk. And that provides a lovely creaminess. A few little lumps in there, but they'll stir through. And this just, all the colours start coming out now when you add like a creamy base like this. Once you've added the cream or this kind of creaminess to it, you could also use like a cashew cream or a nut cream as well. You want to be really careful that you don't bubble it because that really disturbs the creaminess. So from here on in we want to make sure it's on a low heat, so I'm going to turn it right down to very low. And if you see it bubbling, make sure you just turn it down. You might see a couple of bubbles, but you don't want to have it raging away or it changes the consistency of it. And that is a really flavoursome curry. So we'll garnish that before serving with a bit of coriander or cilantro. Okay, just do a quick bench wipe. Now, what's next on the agenda? Salad. It's salad time. I've got a lovely cost lettuce. This is my favourite lettuce, romaine or cost lettuce. It's just got such a lovely, crisp kind of texture to it, and we use it in a lot of our salads in the cafes. I'm going to present the salad on a plate like that. I'm going to cut off any kind of ends that aren't looking great and just do some reasonably small strips like that. You can just hear it crunching through the salad. It's just a lovely, beautiful lettuce, so I encourage you to use it where you can. Mix it up. You've kind of got dark green bits and light green bits. Perhaps another slice. This provides a nice bed. I'm going to add some, for colour, some half of a red pepper or capsicum. Whoops. That fell in the rubbish bin. I might use this half then. That would be the right thing to do. I can wash that later. And I'm just going to just put this into strips, so really just long. So this salad, as with any salad, you want to be looking for nice different textures and shapes and lots of different colours. Like that. And this is the dish we're going to serve it in, so we're saving dishes. I'm going to add some corn, just a can of corn. So I'm just going to drain the water out of that. Make sure you get it all out. We don't want too much corn water on the salad. We're just going to sprinkle some of that on. So we'll probably only need about half a can, I think, it's going to be adequate. And avocado is a great universal salad ingredient. Let's look at that, a nice green one. It's always a risk when you use avocados. I'll just twist out this stone and take off the shell. There we go. I once cut myself. I used to hold the avocado in my hand and try to cut the stone out, and once the knife ricocheted off the stone and cut me through my finger, which wasn't too pleasant. So I'll just cube this up like that, go around the edge and then into cubes, very roughly of course. Sprinkle that over. Like that. Have some olives. My favourite olive is Kalamata olives. They're just lovely. I just kind of drain the water out of it. And I usually get my olives pitted because that means you're not going to find any bits of stone in them. So we'll just throw some of these over. Black or dark brown is a lovely colour to have in a salad. So we're just building it up layer by layer, ingredient by ingredient. And I think these sweet potato and carrots are done. Look at that. They're lovely and soft now. Give them a bit of a push down. As you can see, they're lovely and soft. The carrots probably be a little bit harder, but that's okay. They take a little bit longer to cook. So I'm just going to put these over. So a roast veggie lettuce kind of combination is a really nice salad to make. So, and again, use any roast veggies you want or any lettuce. It's a great combo. And to make this extra special, we've got a lovely dressing. And we're going to make it out of an orange juice and, wipe the knife, orange juice and tahini. It's a lovely dressing. We'll just juice one orange. If you didn't have any oranges around, you could just use some nice store-bought orange juice, but there's nothing like using the real thing. So we want around about 4 tablespoons. I'm just going to add around about most of this, but not all of it. It's a bit of a trick getting the combination between the tahini and the orange juice right into a nice consistency, so you may need to add to adjust. Just get a spoon. So just start stirring. And at first it looks kind of flaky, but before long it'll kind of combine together and make a lovely dressing. This is kind of a nice way of doing a creamy dressing without using lots of oil or dairy. Come on, let's go. It's getting there. Look at that, yep, smoothing up. A few more stirs, so be patient with your dressings. Here we go, look at that. I'm going to add some maple syrup for a bit of sweetener. You could use honey if you wanted as well. So about a tablespoon of that. Just a touch of salt. And that kind of darkens it up a bit. And we're going to drizzle over to finish it. Just drizzle over. And that salad is finished and ready for the table. So this soother is really, really nice on a cold winter's night. So basically we're going to chop up some ginger, just cut some slices like that. So it's a ginger, honey and lemon. Try not to cut my finger. Just cut them up like that, probably halve them, and just distribute them across the glasses. And then we're going to add in some lemon. Just squeeze it through my fingers. It's probably about 1 lemon should do all of these. And then we've got the honey. Pour of this. It's probably about a teaspoon or so per glass. This is great when you've got a cold or not feeling well as well. full of great stuff. And we've got some water. We boiled it probably a while ago, so it's just basically nice and hot, not boiling. And we're going to fill these up. And this is a lovely gingery, lemony honey drink. And very simple to make. So give it probably 5 or 10 minutes just for those flavours to come up and the ginger flavour to come as well. And it will be a lovely addition to this meal. Let's check the rice. Yep, look at that. Looking really nice. Smells amazing. So we'll add a little bit of salt and prepare it on a dish, and it will go really well with this meal. And I'll put some cilantro on the curry, and I think that is everything ready. And that is a delicious curry, and you know that's going to taste good with all those lovely flavours and spices. So I encourage you to try some of those new flavours and spices in your cooking. It may take a few times to get used to it, but they will taste amazing. So try these whole foods out and watch your energy and vitality increase as you eat healthier foods. Thank you for joining me today on Cook 30, and I look forward to seeing you next time.